Pop was part of the 11th Armored Division, 21st Armored Infantry. He was on the machine gun on the half track, and he was always prouder of this badge, the infantry badge, because that meant these guys were the frontline soldiers in battle. These are his private stripes that he had taken off of his uniform to put his corporal stripes on. There'd be one on either sleeve. So when he became the corporal, these came off, and the corporal stripes, which is 2 chevrons, went on the uniform. These were Pop's dog tags. He was a Tech 5, which it says it on the dog tags. In the Ardennes forest, if you dug too deep, you'd pull water up, and if your feet got wet, you couldn't pick your head up out of the foxholes because they were under fire until the tank armor came in and moved the Germans back. So that's how he got frostbite and almost lost his feet, and that's how he got his Purple Heart. When they came in, they threw it on his bed, and he threw it back. He said, "You pin it on me or I don't want it." They were in part of pitched battle on Christmas of 1944. And I believe this is why Christmas became very important to Pop, because he wasn't sure if he was ever going to see another one. As soon as Santa Claus showed up at the Macy's parade, bang, he was at the stereo and he put on the Christmas music. Perry Como, he always opened with Perry Como.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays.
Back in the days of soldiering, and this goes way back to whenever this was first invented, the harmonica, this was something soldiers could carry with them in their pocket and always have music. But this was Pop's. This is the one he carried in his pocket during World War II. It's a big deal at the time if you had one of these, because you were the camp musician. Some of the things Pop picked up in Germany, like I said, he loved the German people and culture. He didn't like the Nazis, but he loved the beer Steins, and he started collecting them in Germany. These two here are genuine German Steins that he brought home from the war, and you note by the markings, pewter cover and a made in Germany underneath. Those two he brought home from the war, and then he started collecting when he would travel. So this one he got from Williamsburg, Virginia. It's got a little crack in it now, but he liked that one. These two were replicas. This is made by the Stroh's Brewing Company. He sent away for this one. And this one was from the Avon Company, but he liked the pewter top. Junior SS officers were given these Bavarian Hirschfänger swords or daggers. These are very ornate carvings on the blades. So these were hunting swords, but the German junior officers wore them. This, our junior officer surrendered to him, and surrender has always involved handing over your sword. There are about 20 units in the Army, in the U.S. Army, that were designated liberators, and the 11th Armored was one of them. They liberated Mauthausen and Gusen. There were deplorable conditions that these soldiers walked into. It was an extermination camp, a level 3 camp. During the Battle of the Bulge, Pop, being a corporal, had 7 men under him. And one of the things they captured during the battle by Bastogne was the German battle flag. And Pop had the gentlemen that were in the battle with him sign the battle flag. And there are members from the 11th Armored, the 8th Armored, and the 4th Armored Division. This is all the 11th Armored guys here. And then some of the 8th Armored guys signed here, and a few from the 4th Armored Division. And when I talked to the people from the 11th Armored, they told me the only time in history that those 3 units were together on the same battlefield was the Battle of the Bulge. So this flag was definitely captured during the Battle of the Bulge. The flag, I believe, belongs in a museum, not to promote or honor the Nazis, to honor the names, the soldiers that fought for the United States Army and captured that flag. But the Holocaust Museum did not want it. The fact that it was signed, instead of just taken and what do you do with it after that? You throw it out. But because they signed it, there's something historic about it. So the flag should be on display in proper context. As I said it before, Pop loved the German people, but he hated the Nazis, and he would still hate these neo-Nazis, probably disallowing for the use of the word neo. A Nazi is a Nazi. And if he was ever confronted with one, he would have smacked him. No questions asked. That's what he did. He fought Nazis, and he would consider that an affront to his service to the country. I fought to keep Nazis out of here. Who the hell are you to give the Nazi salute? That would have been very offensive, and he wouldn't have thought twice about punching a neo-Nazi in the face. Between VE Day and VJ Day, Pop was assigned to the graves registration unit as the war in Europe ended, and he said they gave it to him as a punishment because he yelled at a lieutenant, and that was his punishment. And not knowing exactly, he just said that as he put it, we had words. And Pop always felt that was rather important. He never considered it a punishment. But Pop explained graves registration meant going to find the bodies of U.S. soldiers that were left in the field, and when the soldier was left in the field, they marked the location coordinates, and you go retrieve them and either reinter them in an American cemetery in Europe or have their bodies flown home. Church bells. Blessed Sacrament. So Mom and Libby, and probably Grandma Vita, were churchgoers. Pop's family was not. Although they lived right across the street from the church, they never went. But Pop was one of 7 brothers, 4 sisters, and the way Mom and Libby explained it, they were their own gang. They had their own gang. And that house, the tall house, right past the one with the columns, is 111 Pine Street. That's where Pop grew up. So right here was where Pop was under the car, working on the car, when Mom walked by and he called her chicken legs. And that was kind of their first introduction. At his funeral, my mother leaned over and she kissed my dad, and holding my hand, she said, "Isn't he so handsome? I'd marry him all over again." It's January 6, 2019. Pop has been gone since August of 2001. And one of the things at this time in the Italian culture, January 6th is called Little Christmas. It's the time when the 3 wise men were supposed to have shown up at the manger. And traditionally in our house, it was when Christmas was put away, all the decorations. That was a big thing with my dad, was decorating Christmas, and he just enjoyed it so much. And he never really moved from his chair at the head of the table. You brought him his gifts there, and he just would more rather watch everybody else enjoy themselves, opening gifts and stuff. But he had more fun watching everybody else have fun. And that's something that always stuck with me, and still I try to be like that too. So I learned a lot from him.